I don't know, but
There we go. You see, there we go. We live. Come on in,
yeah,
come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, man. Look, we got it's not Victory Sunday, it's Victory Monday. We are
Victory
here.
Monday,
Jaywalk,
man.
what's the word?
Man. What
Talk about
sounds?
it.
What sounds? What? Hey, what sounds better than happy victory any day coming off of a USC game? We're just excited. It's a mixed bag of emotions, but the overall energy, the overall sentiment is our young men got the job done. They left a lot for the imagination. And after I watched this thing, and I watched it, I don't know, about 4 times, right? I was very, very encouraged with what I did see. I was also very upset with what I did not see.
Right.
So I'm very happy to tap in and jump into that.
Absolutely, man. We're gonna get into this, and I've been dealing with it since Saturday.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I got on live on Saturday. I kind of did my immediate reaction, and then I came back on a Sunday with just a small little takeaways. And so now we really want to kind of address and kind of get into the nitty gritty and kind of give our final thoughts, and then I'm gonna move on to Nevada probably tomorrow, just kind of looking at some stuff, but.
Right on.
I really I'm encouraged by this, and it's several reasons why I'm encouraged by this. Is because when you look at number one, we got to be encouraged with the defensive front. I mean, we seen an immediate push. I seen it from Solomon Bird.
Oh
I
yeah.
seen a push
Oh
from
yeah.
Jamil Muhammad, which he silenced his haters. He did. He silenced his haters. And shout out to you. You was out there on the field with Jamil Muhammad. He gave me a shout out, and I appreciate it because coincidentally I kind of spoke with him. I think was the day before the game, and kind of just let him know some things. And then you gave me that message, man. That's what he said. USCJ know what I'm talking about.
Hey, you know
So
what it is.
hey, he showed up and showed out, man. And I
You know
really
what
think
it
he
is.
silenced the critics. And then you look at Bear Alexander. I was impressed with him. Impressed with Anthony Lucas. And so if it was any issue I had, it was with the secondary. I think that's correctable. I think that communication problems was going on, but it's the first game. It's the first game, so we're gonna talk about this and talk about how good San Jose State team. And we're talking about a quarterback, Jay, that doesn't make mistakes. Only 6 INTs last year. It's not like this guy
Oh, he's
is a guy.
efficient.
Yeah,
He's efficient.
he's an efficient guy. He's not going to do anything. If he sees something, if he doesn't see something there, he's going to throw it away or he's going to run. So, what's your overall thoughts as we get into this real quick? Hey, John Chichilla, hey, thank you very much for the super chat.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you. So, guys, being in the stadium and watching the game is a lot different than watching it from television or watching certain cut ups or watching the sideline type copy from the field level. There's just so many angles that allows you to get a broader perspective, right? So from the satellite view, there was a lot that I was just very just disgruntled about. I was frustrated from seeing it from up to above, but then my eyes are looking at it so I think overcritically because of my own one bias, my two, my love and passion for the team, and three, my hopes, my expectations, my aspirations for what we are now. When I came back home and watched it later, big bro, I said, okay, I misperceived that when I was there live. And then I watched it again from another angle. And I said, oh, I there was even more to it than I realized the second go around. So here's my general takeaway. I think we had close to 18 to 20 something different players that made defensive tackles on this past game. All right. We played a team that was, I think, as perfect a preseason, early season matchup as we could ask for because they had a balanced run attack and a balanced pass attack. They gave us a small dose of what it's like to play a scrambling quarterback that's elusive. They gave us an efficient quarterback who knew how to navigate and master the flow of a game, a guy that was very composed, and his coaches, his teammates, and himself, he trusted himself. All of the players around him trusted him. You never saw one shade of doubt in that dude's mind. And I love that from him. I don't know if he's a 5th, 6th-year senior, something like that, but just about as effective quarterback as you could find. And I believe he's an NFL guy. Now, that's neither here nor there. I saw so many rotational pieces in our defense that made me understand that our coaches did the least to try to get the most. That means they were conscious about putting athletes in position to see if they can make plays. I think that they were conscious about putting guys in one-on-one situations where let's see what you're actually made out of. Let's put you in this isolated situation to see if you can do it. Okay, tag it. We're going to put you in this 1v1. We're going to see if you can hit this fit. We can see if you can slant the correct way and get your fit. And just like most freshmen, you know, there was some over pursuit issues, some zealous issues. From a linebacking standpoint, I did think Mason Cobb is everything advertised. I really do. He's a sometimes he can be too fast. Actually, he could play too fast. But overall, you can see his reaction time is very, very special. Like I said, he reminds me of Denzel Perryman. I still stand on that, and I have a great deal of respect for Denzel Perryman as a pro. The front, let's call it front 6 that we rotated consistently throughout the game. You can see that they're going to be imposing. You can see that they're going to be a force to deal with. The penetration was very, very evident.
It was evident, big time.
The push, the initial surge, the getting into that second level into the quarterback's pocket. He was disrupted. Here's what we didn't account for. We didn't account for a guy as savvy as the QB that we played, stepping up and then finding those little niche, little angles to get us when he came off platform. He was able to do a lot with a little. So I do believe that we will spy those guys in the future. And my number one concern of all is our corners and our safeties getting lost in space on general crossing routes. That's probably my biggest concern because we didn't give up too many yards. I mean, we gave up 198 passing yards. That's considered a good game any way you look at it. To give up under 200 yards passing on over 30 attempts is pretty remarkable, right? And I believe they had over 30 attempts passing, and we only gave up 198. But the thing is the yards that they did get in the passing game were so timely. They were those third and medium to long situations where we should have got off the field. So I'm being nitpicky. Defensively, I'm only speaking about.
Well, that was kind of that was my issue as well. I mean, I didn't see no other main issue except for the 3rd and 22. Except for the 3rd and 22 we gave up.
That was the main one.
Yeah, that was the big one. But the defensive backs were, that cross up. I don't know if it's cover 2. I don't even know who to put that on. I don't know if it was on Max or if it was on Damani. But that right there, that just wasn't a good look.
I didn't love that. It was a weird hybrid cover too, where the safety and the cornerback switch responsibilities. I get it. It's a shell. It's one of those things that if you're going to try it then. But I just didn't love this scenario, it being that deep in the red zone. And then also that was a momentum shift in the game that we would, I believe, had that exchange not happened, man, I think we would have really, really decisively put those guys away early. But it did happen. It's on film. I like that what we put on film. I like what we put on film for offensive teams to try to mix and match. There was a lot of tricky stuff that we threw out there, little breadcrumbs that I could see as we get refined and shake off the camp legs, because it did look like we were flat and slow. I thought we were running flat and slow. I think it's the byproduct of having a very physical and competitive training camp. So I'm very happy to get that one game out of the way, to hit somebody with a different color uniform, to get a look that we had. I mean, all 4 of our primary defensive backs in terms of corners got to play. All of our safeties got in the rotations. We mixed and matched our linebackers, our defensive front. They kept mixing it in and out consistently. And you know what? We pretty much ran about 12 to 13 defensive plays.
From a tackling perspective, how did you see that? I mean, from what I've seen, it looked like they tackled much better.
Mm. I was still unhappy with some of the one-on-one missed tackles. That's me. But
right.
tackling is the most fundamental thing. We did tackle better, but to me, I still saw about 7 to 8 missed tackles.
I think it was one tackle, and I'll go through some of these numbers. One tackle in particular that I think it was that running back. I know we have. I'm not gonna call any names for players, but I know it was one tackle in, and we're on the defense right now. We're gonna get on the offense in a second. I guess it's we do the so-called bad first. I think it was positive, just given the fact that we played against a quality opponent. This is not Oregon State playing against Portland State next week in the Big Sky Conference. You're talking about a quality opponent that lost by 8 points at Auburn last year. A very experienced quarterback,
competitive,
very very competitive. I think the quarterback he threw for 3,500 yards last year. You look at a quarterback like South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler, who's supposed to be the guy out there, threw for 3,000 yards. This guy was not he's the real deal. He doesn't make bad decisions. But from a tackling standpoint, Jalen Smith, he had 8 tackles total. Mason Cobb had total 6. Sierra Wright 4. Damani had 5. Caleb Bullock 4. Anthony Lucas 3. Brian Shaw 2. Jamil Muhammad 2. Max Williams 2. Jacoby Covington 2. And this is the result of these guys subbing out quite a bit. Everybody seemed like they were in on the party. Caleb Bullock had 4. Anthony Lucas 3. Brian Shaw 2. Well, I went through that. Jacoby Covington 2. Keon Barnes 2. Eric Gentry 2. Tacky Curtis 2. And Stanley, he had 1. So it looks like you got, as we alluded to earlier, you had quite a few guys that were involved in this game, man. And do you think the rotational aspect, because I see my man USC Priority, he put this comment up here, expect Nevada rotations to be the same.
Right.
And I said that before, the first 6 games, we got an opportunity to mix and match to just see what the best unit is going to be out there. However, you do want your 1s and 2s and 3s to be balanced, opposed to just have it top heavy in one particular area, with the first unit.
Correct.
So what do you think as far as the rotations is concerned? And I mean, I see Rajon Davis. I mean, let's talk about that as well. Eric Gentry.
Yeah, I saw a heavy dose of 3 to 4 snaps at a time. That's great. You need to manufacture this experience. You need to manufacture the chemistry, the wisdom, the camaraderie early as possible. And so when you can see coaches making a very concise, concerted effort to put everybody in position to determine who your guys are going to be, that's what I love. You don't want to gamble week 6, week 7, when things are going to be marginally more competitive. You want to know, I know that in this scenario, this player can give me this type of productivity and they match well chemistry-wise with these other guys. So that's why I'm not really, really too vexed, is because I saw players get a real opportunity to lose their job, not gain a job. I saw guys get an opportunity to get disqualified. And to me, there was no one that underperformed to the point where anyone deserves to be completely like disconnected from the overall unity of what this defense is going to be. So I am excited. I think situationally, I believe we can put our hand in the dirt and play a little bit more straight up with our defensive line. I don't think we need as many shifts on the line as we showed, but it is good to show that on film. It is good to create a lot of confusion and things for offensive lines and quarterbacks and running backs and tight ends to be able to make sure that they're all on the right page. So I like how Grinch does that, but I think certain situations, you just gotta, hey, we're right here, we're nose to nose, it's 3rd and 12 or whatever. We don't need a particular crazy fire zone blitz. We don't need super aggressive, like
over pursuing.
Right. Yeah. You have to allow your safe zone blitz packages where guys can rally, like dump the ball off and rally underneath and just stop them on, 3rd and medium, 3rd and long, those types of things. I would like to see more of those tactical types of choices, but I'm not one to over criticize coaching, particularly because I don't know the long-term game plan and how we like to bait and switch guys. I don't know that. I'm not
Yeah.
in the locker room. I'm not in the position rooms, but I know that I do believe what Lincoln Riley says is he was actually happy with what showed up on film. He didn't say particularly that he was happy with how everyone played. He said, I'm happy with what we put on film. That's a very telling statement to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. You mentioned the shift too. We know we talked about shifting on the line. Like, what are your thoughts as well as like I seen Anthony Lucas now. Now that was a weird to me. That was weird, and I understand. I understand. I understand. I seen Anthony Lucas at the top of the screen look like he was guarding a running back receiver. Well, when I had to double take and say who's number 6 out there at the top of the screen, and I realized I said that's Anthony Lucas. I said, what the heck is he doing on the top of the screen guarding somebody like that in coverage? And I don't that aspect of it it's kind of and I know me and you talked about this. That's what happened with Corey Foreman, and he was able to disguise that coverage and able to come back and get the interception last year with UCLA. So, like, what are
Right.
your thoughts on that as well?
I think that it is a good and healthy thing to show the diversity of your unit and also have multiple techniques from similar looks and defensive fronts. We did it. We did that. When I was at SC. I mean, this is ancient stuff, guys. I'm like a dinosaur now when it comes to USC football. I played a long time ago. But even then, we had defensive fronts where we would have our ends running with a wheel route. We would have our ends flash hook to curl. We would have our ends play flat to hook. We had those. So that it's nothing different. It's just we as USC fans want everything exactly the way we want it, right when we want. It's like kind of like we're hungry for this, but we want the meal to taste delicious, but we want it prepared like fast food. Guys, it's not in and out. Like if we're gonna have a 5-star burger, we're gonna go to a restaurant where the burger costs $45. It's gonna be like Wagyu steak burger that's $80, right? Let's let this team cook it up the right way.
This is the first game of the season, man. I've never seen.
Absolutely.
Hey, within about, and I'm gonna address this comment too. No joke. About 3 minutes into the game, no joke. First, any evidence of it looks like San Jose may be doing anything. My inbox in my Instagram and Twitter just began to blow up. I said, "Are you kidding me? I said, you did not get lost in the sauce within 3 minutes of the game." I said, "Bro, calm down. You gotta relax. You gotta understand. Let the game play out. You're not even giving. It's like everybody is waiting on an opportunity to say Grinch. You just waiting on that opportunity. It's not. You got to get a man a fair handshake. You got to look at the whole body of work." And to this comment, he says every year we say this, and that is correctable. This is the second year we had this guy in the system, so we cannot. Everybody needs to calm down, relax. We have a very, very good team, and I'm excited about it right now for the potential right now. Do we got some kinks to work out? Absolutely. But defensive backfield, secondary, that communication part, we've addressed that. I think that needs to be corrected. So what are your thoughts on individuals early on, just ready to hop off the bandwagon?
Well, that's never going to be. That's always going to be this USC popular culture. It just is. It was that way when I was there. It's going to be that way because we here, I'm going to say on the West Coast, particularly USC, especially USC Blue Bloods, we just have a very high standard of excellence. But sometimes the standard is unrealistic because we don't even have evidence that we should have that standard yet. Guys, we are working to become a playoff team. I'm going to say it right now. We're not a playoff team yet because we've never made it to the playoffs. All right. It doesn't mean that the ingredients that we have don't have the potential to get there. I believe that we do have everything that it takes to not only get to the playoff, but to win a national title. We have all the intangibles. We do. It's very clear watching all of the individuals and watching the performance ability that they have. Yes, we have that coaching and a lot of, you know, great fortune and lack of injury. All sorts of things have to come into play to make a championship run. But I can't say that we're a playoff team because we've never made it to the college playoff yet. But the stuff that I saw, the good things that I saw this weekend showed me that we are a playoff and a championship caliber unit when we play to those standards. When we don't play to those standards, we can actually make a very non-competitive game become a little bit of a heartburn for us. Like a team that probably we should beat by close to 36 to 40 points makes it a little more competitive than we like, and guys are straining more than we probably should. I think that's all. You're always going to have some level of attrition that way. Individually, guys that I think are primed to have really huge breakout seasons. I think Jalen Smith has had a very quiet offseason in terms of marketing, in terms of people praising him and giving him accolades. But the dude was my defensive player of the game. He was everywhere.
I was going to go to that. Who's your defensive player of the game? And then
he led the team in tackles.
Yeah,
he was always in the right place at the right time. And you can see his competitive spirit just radiating all night long.
He had a pretty good game. He did. He had a pretty good game.
He's an exciting guy. Like, he's a very exciting guy. And it's unfortunate that sometimes he gets overlooked by some of the guys who just get a little bit more, spotlight on what they do. I was very excited to see Mason Cobb. He did what I expected. I was excited to see how much push Keon Barrs got in the backfield. Like, we had some good things. I think as a secondary, we're going to get less handsy. We're going to get less disoriented, because when you're going against the receivers that you play all camp long, which are a ton of them, you get accustomed to covering those types of guys. And then when you see different dudes for the first time, it becomes a little bit of there's a shock factor. Guys on film look slower or faster than they really are in games. And so you have to experience this in real time. So the play that Sierra Wright gave up, that was a touchdown.
Yeah.
The guy made an amazing one-handed grab and snag and pulled it in and diving into the end zone. That's a low percentage touchdown. Otherwise, it wasn't poor coverage. It was a great pass, great execution by two other NCAA players that are hoping to become pros. Sierra can do a better job. He got to get hands on him on the line of scrimmage. The play where Damani got handsy with a guy and they gave him a PI, yeah, that's avoidable. The play where Kalen Bullock got a little handsy with a guy in the back of the end zone, yes, those are all correctable things.
Right.
Not like we were completely just unable to do something about it. So those are all coachable things that I'm confident that our staff and our players recognize. Yeah, that's fixable. And I think that now that they got this game out of their system, the legs won't be as heavy. I think we're going to see a little bit more explosiveness.
Here's the thing. Here's a stat that I want to point out, and that is a stat of no team really having no turnovers. And you hear these guys in the media last year making reference. They said USC, if you take away those turnovers, they won't be the same team. They won't win by a lot. Those turnovers help them out. Well, guess what? We didn't have any turnovers.
No.
We won last year at Rice, 66 to, I think, was it 17? I can't remember the score.
Something like that, yeah.
But we didn't have any turnovers, and we still won. And we still won by a great margin of victory. And so I think you really got to take that into mind. By the way, Damani Jackson, he could have had an interception. He could have had a pick, but he ended up dropping that. Yeah. But I think it's important to really keep that in mind. With no turnovers, will we be as effective? And I think you guys can see it. We were still effective. We won 56-28, no turnovers. So the question is, will we still be that team, a good team with no turnovers? The answer is definitively yes, absolutely yes. And so my player of the game, defensive and we're gonna move on to the offense from a defensive perspective is it's gonna be Jamil Muhammad, and the reason being is because he had 2 tackles, but you watch it on TV, man, and you see how fast. I don't know if you've seen his first step, but that man looked like he was running to just really absolutely take somebody's head off in the game. And I could not. I was just like, wow, I had to double take and say, is he He was playing like he was mad. Like he was really playing like he was mad. Did you see that?
He was. I think he
Yeah.
was. You know who else had that energy? This don't say this is blasphemy because it was just a glimpse. It was a glimpse of like the effort and the backside pursuit. And Mason Cobb, when he was running, chasing and pursuing plays, he was flashing like Talanoa Hufanga and Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, yeah.
When I saw that 1-3 and I see him running, I was like, man, bro, look like Troy. Like it, the effort, the speed, the tenacity, the intensity of trying to get to the play, trying to get to the ball. That's what I saw that made me very excited. Let's think about when the running back actually broke on that long play. It was a 54-yard run. Let's think about this for one moment. And where I go, the things that I saw, sometimes it was a double-edged sword, but this is what I saw. I saw that running back break. And then when he was tackled, there was about 7-8 USC jerseys surrounding him. That means guys were hunting him down. That means that the overall team pursuit was there. We got gashed. I mean, we got gashed, and I don't think that play could have happened. It shouldn't have happened. We stunted. Our linebacker got edge, like they sealed him in. Boom, big old gap. But when that running back was on the floor, every USC color jersey was standing over. Those are the types of signs where you go, okay, it wasn't just a last desperation shoestring tackle and we stopped them. No, guys walked them down and everybody believed that it was their job to stop him from scoring. That's the mindset.
Absolutely.
That's the mindset right there.
Absolutely. And this comment right here, I really, from David, Cordero is a cleaner, faster version of Jaden Delore. Our edges need to better contain. Now, I totally agree. Jaden Delore, he's super fast. He throws on the run, but at times he can make some ill-advised throws. He can make some throws to where he's just it almost be 50-50 balls just because he's trying to get rid of it. But that guy right there, this Cordero guy, he will not make those same mistakes. So to your point, I totally agree with that. Hey, little one, tell her to fight on, fight on, fight on. Fight on! You gotta throw it up. Fight on! There you go.
She was just trying to tell me she loved me. She getting ready to go to school.
Absolutely.
That's my baby right there. That's my baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Tell her to fight on. She threw it up, so we good.
Fight on.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. He says, what adjustments did you notice after first half? Did you want to grab that?
Yeah, I got it, but you want to go first?
No. Go ahead. I'm going to sort through these comments real quick. I see a couple super chats to make sure I don't miss.
So here's what I noticed. I noticed that the guys were less jumpy, less jittery. I saw that guys were able to contain a little bit more because the major runs outside of that long one, the major runs happened in the first half.
Yeah.
You know, that's when the quarterback was getting loose. The quarterback did not get loose in the second half like that. So we did make those. We corrected some things. I think Taggart Curtis, and I love him. And I think I'm calling it right now. If he wants to, he could wear the 55. He has that. Look, I would have said Eric Gentry could wear the 55, but to be honest, Eric Gentry looks great in that 1-8. You know?
Yeah. You want that 1-8.
He looks too sweet in that 1-8. So I want him to hold on to that one. That's a legacy number. Personally, you know, but what I'm going to say is once Eric came in and Taggart slowed down, he was like a bull in a china shop, just rah, and he was over pursuing it, and he's going to clean that up, I promise, right? But when Eric came in, things stayed in front of the defense more in the run game because especially the quarterback, he didn't have those same alleys. He didn't have those same running lanes that he could exploit, forgive me. That was one of the major adjustments. We got our spies. Our defensive ends weren't flying up the field so aggressive, thinking that they were going to get the sack without creating force and holding the edge. I saw the defensive line corral everything in the box a little bit more. Now, here's what I didn't love. It allowed the quarterback to throw the ball more than he probably wanted to. But some of those passes were getting completed that I don't think we needed to give up. I think we could have been a little more competitive on some of those like short range passes, even though they only averaged 4 yards per catch. You know,
Right.
they averaged 4 point something yards per catch, but they did average 7.3 yards per run. I hate that. I hate giving up 200 yards rushing to anyone, especially a team that doesn't have a prolific running attack.
Now, part of that was, they don't, but part of that was the quarterback not being contained.
Yeah.
You know, on some of the edges, and I think he had, if I'm not mistaken, that he rushed for, I had it up here. He rushed for, I believe, it was like 50 something yards.
It was about a little under 60 yards.
Yeah, he had around 50 something yards.
And that's a lot. That's a lot if they have a good balanced rushing attack.
52 yards. Yeah, 10 for 52.
But here's the thing. It wasn't like power football where they just bullied us and then those running lanes.
It wasn't, because they were getting a push. And that was the reason why he was breaking on the outside, because the push was so strong and the offensive line collapsed.
I'm not going to justify. We should have never given up that many yards, especially on the 3rd and 23. 3rd and 23 means that should be a turnover or an interception.
Right.
That all day. It's no excuse. It's inexcusable. But what I didn't see is their offensive line move our defensive line out of the way, create gaps, and they just busted us in the chops. That did not happen.
And that's the major problem from last year, though. Guys were getting. I see some lost in the sauce movement going on last year that just wasn't. We didn't see yesterday.
No, we didn't see. No. So this was all, like I said, the overzealous poor fits, overzealous getting up the field too fast, not tempoing, not using your eyes, not holding the point, not using your arms to frame out guys and read. We were just flying. We showed our team speed, but sometimes you got to slow play things. When you're too fast, you're going to outrun the play.
So let's deal with that, because we're really dissecting the game. So really, guys were in position, but it was more so not staying as, when you're talking about that aspect of it, as disciplined and not, assignment driven, because part of the assignment is keeping it contained and making sure that you cover that edge, opposed to making the big play and just really pursuing and make the big hit.
Yes. So here's what we didn't see. We didn't see them just run off tackle and bully us. We didn't see them run power and push us out of our lanes. We didn't see them run counters and traps where we were just totally out of sorts. Nothing like that happened. Nothing like that happened. The big run that they had, we had a defensive line stunt where we shifted over and our linebacker was supposed to peel and cover. I think it was this outside C gap or B gap, outside B gap. But that linebacker got chipped because he came too slow. That was their best running play and their best scheme play based on our stunt. Mm-hmm. Now, without that stunt, I think if we stay right there, we plugged that right away. I don't think that it was the stunt where they found the perfect running play that worked with that stunt. It was the exact right offensive call for what we did. So that was a check move that they got on us. Outside of that, the only other main rushing plays were when we were in coverage, we were in zone. Our cornerbacks were in like cover three man where they're locked with anybody past 10 yards. All of our zone defenders were matched up with other guys in space, and our spy, which we didn't have, was staring someplace and the quarterback out leveraged them. Those were the main running plays that they got on us. I think that's easy to clean up because you can slow play, you can zone read, and then we can also get our cornerbacks to, if you feel like a receiver's running you off, just take a little peek or create a better communication package to where you could hear if these guys are just running you 10, 12, 15 yards down the field and they're not trying to make a play on the ball, chances are that QB might be scrambling right now.
Absolutely. And so, man, I totally agree with that. So we're not talking about, because in the past we were talking about we need these big SEC type linemen. I think we got some of those guys now. We're not talking about brute strength on brute strength and we're getting out physical right now. That's not what we're talking about. Yeah. It's more so assignment driven. So I totally agree with that. We kind of dealt with the defense about 34 minutes that I'm looking at.
That's perfect.
We wanted to talk. It's absolutely worth it because we needed to address that. We needed everybody to understand where we're coming from. We see the negatives, but we see the positives as well. We don't want to just drill our guys. We love our guys. But remember, these guys watch this, so we still want to encourage them and keep them uplifted because they got to get out there again this week and play the game.
I'm
So
so proud of him.
I'm absolutely
Hey,
proud of him. And
proud of you.
you know, it's going to be straight up go time, and I think we're going to see improvements throughout the year. We got 214 people in here. Everybody hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. Everybody that comes on, we appreciate it. It helps drive up those algorithms. So look, I need to answer some of these questions, these super chats. It says it seems like we're going to move on to the offense now. It seems like CW was trying to focus on staying in the pocket. He's basically saying, let's play. He needs to play his game. Look, I agree 100% with that. And one of the things that I said, that I mentioned that immediately after the game, it seemed like he was somewhat just, I don't know. He just didn't seem like he was all the way in tune with it when the line did. But we seen this last year. If you guys remember, in the preview, we talked about just the other day, I said that, you know, I would like to see, you remember this, Jay? I would like to see Caleb not hold the ball as long and not sacrifice himself. But he did need to, I think, either move up in the pocket, or if he doesn't see it, like this guy said he alluded to right here, Caleb needs to play his game, and just you might need to take off with it, you know. But I don't think you need to wait till the line collapses and we almost down in the goal line. You remember that play?
I do.
Saturday?
I do.
What's your thoughts on that?
So that was a great coverage sack, by the way. The secondary did a really great job on our receivers on that particular play, but our offensive line had leakage, and yes, Caleb did hold it for maybe a second and a half too long. You're going to have to take some of those L's when you have a guy that's as magical as Caleb. Like, you can't criticize that unless it becomes detrimental to the point where it's so consistent that that's your MO. We haven't seen that that's his MO. He may give us one of those a game, but the exchanges, 12 magnificent plays because he was able to hold the ball and extend. So I'm not going to tell Caleb Williams how to play quarterback. I'm not going to tell Caleb Williams how to be an instinctive guy outside of what his natural inclinations are. Caleb, you know who you are. You see what you see. You keep doing what you do.
Let me ask you something while you're right there. So do you think, because it looked like it was almost like intentional, like he was trying to be a pocket quarterback. I mean, he is a pocket quarterback. He can do it all. But it seemed like he stayed there a little longer than what he normally would. What you think?
I believe he believes in his wideouts.
Yeah.
If you believe in your targets, you're going to hold out for them. Just like in the blocking game for a returner. If you believe in your returner, your blocking skills, your blocking effort goes exponentially through the roof. When you believe that anytime you put the ball in the air to one of your targets, that something amazing is going to happen, you're going to do everything that you can to fulfill your end of the deal. So again, you don't know what is being processed by these players in any given moment. There's microseconds to make very, very life-changing decisions every snap. I am not going to criticize and judge Caleb Williams for playing quarterback the way that he does. Believe it or not, guys, the way he plays quarterback won him a Heisman.
Absolutely.
So, yes, that also means that sometimes things aren't going to taste as good. Every chef doesn't always make the perfect meal every time he prepares one. It still tastes good overall. At the end of the day, you still enjoy your plate, you enjoy your food, and you will go back to that restaurant. So, yes, it did look like Caleb was trying to stay in the pocket, but that's because I believe he was trying to put his receivers in position to do what they're supposed to do. So, yeah, man, when Caleb wants to run, he will. When Caleb wants to throw the ball away, he will. When Caleb wants to hold the ball, he will. Yeah. Those are the things you take with a savant. He's a savant.
Absolutely.
His coaches are going to coach him the correct way to keep him healthy and sustainable throughout the season. And his teammates are going to recognize, okay, man, I might have to come back to the ball. I might have to break that route off for you. I might have to do something. And he's giving his offensive line a chance to gel and learn how he plays and how he moves back there. This is a brand new offensive line.
Yeah, it's a brand new offensive line. And we've seen Eleni Noah. We've seen him in there, man, as a freshman. And look, shout out to all the freshmen. The freshmen really – man, they were very impressive, man. you're talking about Jacoby Lane came in there, Deuce Robinson came in there, he balled out, and we're gonna talk about the super freshman. We are you already know we're about to go with this. We want to deal with the offense. Let me read this comment first. Jaywalk, I was at the game, can't remember the team. You recovered onside kick, ran. Oh yeah, I put that up, man, and
UCLA.
oddly enough, yeah, that was Arizona State.
That was UCLA, my last game in the college.
I put that up. I think I got it on my Instagram. But yeah, that game, man. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? While we on that, real quick, you know about that, man. You ran that. You took it to the. Did you get knocked out of bounds, or did you take it to the house?
No, man. Remember I had a high ankle tear. I had a grade 3 high ankle tear that said I was going to be out for 12 weeks. I got that game in week 4 or week 5 against Washington.
Yeah.
And I fought my hardest, man. They wouldn't give me a red shirt. They wouldn't give me a medical red shirt. And so it was either sit out the whole season or try to play through that injury.
Yeah.
Well, I begged Coach Carroll to let me play that game. It was my last game in the Coliseum, and I was out there probably at about 70, at most 70%.
I remember now, because I told you, I said, you were telling me that, and I told you, I said, you look good. You look like you was moving to me.
Nah, brother, I had a flat tire. So I had a cast on my left ankle. Like nobody could tell, but my foot was in a total cast, a boot. And I couldn't bend my ankle at all. It was just stuck in a 90-degree angle. So I was running like heel to toe. My ankle could not move at all. It was just completely a 90-degree angle. And they onsided it. I recovered it. And I was moving down the sideline, but I just had no burners. In the middle of the run, my cast explodes. And you could see all of the tape and all of the fibers from the calf just burst. And I was trying to get there, and I couldn't dive. I couldn't do none of that, but I got tackled at the 2. It was a great memory. I wish I would have got in the end zone. That was my dream, to score a touchdown at USC. Unfortunately, that never happened, but yeah.
Yeah. Man, thank you for the super chat, Jay. Caleb, Curtis and Kyle were so bad. Want to see Gentry and Davis. I don't even know I don't even know. Hey, thank you for the super chat.
Appreciate the super chat.
I definitely don't think they were. I don't. If you first of all, were you at the game or were you watching on TV? I don't think they were as bad as what it makes out to be.
No, they weren't bad. Listen, they weren't bad at all. That's a true freshman. That's an 18-year-old true freshman playing NCAA football in the biggest stage of his life in the Coliseum in front of 66, close to 67,000 people with everyone screaming at you. Dude, I've been there. You have no idea how fast everything moves in that game as a freshman. Not only that, but Mason Cobb, he was so disruptive. There was so many plays that he saved our butt on. I'm trying to tell you right now, it doesn't get worse if we stay healthy. It gets better.
Absolutely. I've seen him blast the running back. I mean, just absolutely blast him, man.
And Gentry is always going to be great. Rajon is always going to be great. Guys, look at how many people got reps. That's what we did. Our coaches gave everybody reps. When we have a strong, consistent unit, they will be our most productive unit. But then to get these athletes plug and play opportunities and get them in the carousel, that's how you establish depth, chemistry. That's how you establish cohesiveness, and that's how you game plan. That's how you create matchups that the offenses won't know who's going to be what in what positions. Please, we have a lot to work on. Personally, I gave our defense a C-.
Same here.
Based on what our potential is. That doesn't mean I don't think they did amazing in a lot of areas. That doesn't mean I don't think that they're great. I think it's actually going to be a great defense. They're not there yet. And I'm not just being a homer. I'm very overcritical of the players. But the thing also about it is, I know these young men. I know how much desire and passion that they have to do well. And none of these guys are playing with a lack of effort. It's just learning how to play in a college football season in 2023. It's going to be different from year to year, man. I'm not going to defend. I'm not going to justify. There's tons of work to do. The thing is, we have the pieces to do the work. Last season, we didn't have the pieces to do the work. We have the pieces to do the work. Say what you want about the defense today. I'm not judging the defense that went 4-way rotations all game long. There was no premier starting unit. So many guys got to play, and that's how you get better.
Absolutely. And it's the same thing. Just once you in the game, you get the feel of the game. The longer you in there, you get the rhythm of the game, and you get tendencies from the opposing team. And so when you rotating guys out like that, the feel is not it's totally different. So I think, as we stated and alluded before, the first 6 games there's going to be some mixing and matching, but you can guarantee once we come to Notre Dame, which I think is going to be the first big one, or is it Utah? I got to look at the schedule again. But
Notre Dame's going to be competitive, man.
They're going to be competitive, but we can't compare it. Notre Dame played Navy, and it was just run left, run right. I watched that game to detail the other day. It was no major throwing. I don't even think the quarterback can throw. I don't even know if he could throw it off. But they look good. Sam Hartman, we know he came from Clemson. He did look good. He looked strong.
He's a good leader. I'm excited for every game this season.
Yeah.
And guys, look, let's put a string of actual stats together and games together before you criticize people on one game. It's week 0. That means they're playing football before most other players in the country. That's one less week of preparation.
Yeah.
That's one less week of recovery. They're coming straight out of a crazy competitive training camp. Everybody looked flat to me. Look at on offense. Our primary receivers really didn't play. Brendan Rice played a little. Taj played a little. Mario played a little. Guys, settle down. Settle down.
And we're gonna get on to we're gonna shut the defense down, shut this defense down. I just need to address this. It says we're making a lot of excuses for our mistakes. Listen, there's no excuses. This is early on, once again, in the season. Do you guys remember last year? Georgia played, and I put this up on my Twitter. Georgia played Kent State, who's far less of a team than San Jose State. We're talking about a San Jose State that played Auburn last year, lost by 8 points at Auburn. So we're talking about a decent team. This Kent State team, they were 1-3. They came into Georgia last year, and the score was 22-39. I mean, it was a close game. It was closer.
It was competitive.
It was a very competitive, close game. And so you got to understand the nuances of it. And that was September 24th. That was early on in the season, probably the 3rd week of the season. So we got to put that in perspective. Now we're gonna move on to the offense, because I know we keep going back, because I think everybody wants to talk about the defense.
They want to bag the defense. Look, you can bag the defense. That's fine. Your prerogative. But look, never say something about anyone or anything that you do not want to be true. If you want it to be true, fine. Say the defense is terrible. If you want it to be true, say our defense is trash. If you want it to be true, speak it into existence. That's on you. The power of life and death lives in the tongue. If you want Coach Grinch to be a bad coach, then keep calling him one. Personally, I can see the upside of everything because I've lived in those shoes. I've had bad defensive coordinators. I've had good ones. I've played in tough defenses. I've played in good ones. Guys, we have the ingredients to go both ways. That's what I'll say. But I'm going to lean towards the side of trending towards progression, trending towards the areas that we want to see as a unit, and we will be competitive. We don't need a top 10 defense to do what we need to do. We need a top 30, and I do think we're capable of that. I believe we're capable of that. We need to make sure that we just don't average giving up 27 points a game. We gave up 28 in the opener. I don't think that's going to be the case as guys continue to settle into the system. I don't believe that that's going to be true, as I see the evidence that we can do better. All right, now moving on to offense.
Absolutely. I'll answer, these super chats, I'm going to answer these, but I know we're talking offense, but to go back to defense and fast, how come we don't do more blitz packages?
Week 1, we don't need to. We're not supposed to.
Thank you for the super chat, by the way.
We're not supposed to show everyone what we got. Guys, I told you we only ran like 12 defensive plays. It wasn't a lot of we ran basic stuff, and sometimes the stuff that we ran, we needed a different type of package for that, right? But we stuck to the basics and said, we're going to throw out our least. We're not going to reveal our hand. It's like poker. You can't show why would you want to show all of your flashy, fancy tricks early in the season? Why would you want to get game plans so early? Do the basic to get the most, the least to get the most. and we're content to do that. We got a W. What more do you want? We got a W. What more do you want? We were healthy.
56,
We had no major injuries. No major injuries.
Yeah.
We are going on to Nevada, and we're going to dominate them as well.
Absolutely. Half breed. Hey, good looking out, man. Appreciate it.
Much love.
Brandon, he says you guys got to chill out. It's week 0. It looks like August football.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, bro.
Thank
you.
Chill. Hey, man, it's crazy, man. Hey, so we gonna move on. So let's talk about what we dealt with this 50 minutes. We dealt with the defense. We really didn't. We got to talk about the super freshman, man, because you played, as we know, you played with a guy by the name of Reggie Bush. I personally don't think Zach Branch looked like Reggie Bush. To me, he looked like, on that run, he looked like Adoree Jackson. The way Adoree was running, he ran.
He moves.
Yeah, to me, that's how he looked. I've heard Jamil Muhammad made reference to him looking like DeAnthony Thomas. So some people think he. So what's your thoughts, man? First of all,
well, I'm never going to say he looks like Reggie Bush. I said he has the excitement factor.
Excitement, yeah. Correct. You're right, and I agree with that.
Nobody looks like Reggie Bush, but he has the excitement factor like Reggie Bush. Yeah,
right. So when is the last time we moving on to the office now? We got 242 people in here. Ooh. Everybody needs to hit that like button. Everybody needs to hit that share button. Everybody needs to subscribe. It's going to help out with the algorithms.
Yeah, guys, why isn't USCJ at 10K followers, by net subscribers?
Hey, it's 100. Do you not listen? For everybody that don't know, my analytics, YouTube tells me 124 people every 28 days, same 28 days, keep coming back, but they don't hit that subscribe button. You guys need to hit that subscribe button. You guys need to hit it. 128,000 people, 24,000 see the channel every 28 days.
Come on, guys.
Y'all got to hit that subscribe, man. Hit it. So have you ever, when is the last time you've seen a freshman like this, man? I mean, he's the best player in college football, hands down, my opinion.
The best freshman for sure. I don't know about players, but best.
I'm saying player. I know you say freshman, but I'm saying what other?
He's a better player than Caleb Williams.
hey, well, let me say this.
More exciting.
Most exciting. Okay, I think you might kind of have me on that. I'm 50-50 with that. Now, what other time that a player, each time he gets the ball in his hands,
he got juice.
To make an absolute move. I mean, you got to think that they're not going to kick it to him. But I want to talk about the adjustments that we can make, because I think that this is going to open up, because you got a guy like him or Raleek Brown back there together, because you might try to avoid Zach, but I want to get on Zach a little more, but you still might have to kick it to Raleek. So we've got some serious options that we can deal with. So in your opinion, when is the last time we've seen somebody on this level like this, man? And did he amaze you? Did he shock you?
Yeah, he did. So to me, it was Joe McKnight and Adoree. Rest in peace.
No doubt. No doubt.
Rest in peace, Joe.
No doubt.
So
I love Joe McKnight, man. I Louisiana product.
So yeah, we had those guys. And here's the thing. I told everyone that between Raleek and Branch, that our whole special teams unit and Taj, we can't forget him, we're going to have an explosive return game. But I said he was going to return the kickoff back to the house. I told the whole world, I said he's going to run a kickoff back to the house. And I said this.
That was a good call.
No matter how fatigued the defense is, when a special teams, like the defense could go on a 99-yard drive and then they score, and it could take 26 snaps of their offense challenging our defense, and then they score. So they kick off to us and we return it back to the house. I said nothing ignites a defense like seeing a return.
Man.
Just like when in this game they scored, we get the kickoff, return it back to the house, and then our defense comes out and stops them on downs. That is how it happens. The defense came out energized, even though they had no recovery, because there was no offense for them to sit on the sideline and breathe. They got scored on, came right back, and stopped them. That is what happens, and the game shifted. That's when the game shifted, because when you have a dynamic returner, it fires up a defense like you can't believe. Like, guys, no matter how exhausted you are as a defender, when you see one of your teammates score on any type of return, you come back on the field so juiced and so charged. The crowd is alive. Everybody's alive. The energy is there. The pulse is high. The heartbeat is thumping. You're ready to get the ball back again. You're ready to give your offense double series to score, and that's what motivates a defense. We're gonna have one of the best return units in the country, punt and kickoff. We really are. Punt return.
Absolutely. And a lot of people talked about special team coach. Now, let me say this: the special teams, it didn't really get in the way yesterday. Of course, Eddie Sapinski, I think he kicked something to the
that offense. Man, I don't know. That hands team was questionable.
Well, you got to go back and look at it because of the fact that it's two things that happened. The guy got ran into. He got illegally blocked.
It wasn't a legal block.
It was a legal block, and so it was illegal touching as well. And for whatever reason, we thought they were going to turn it back. Even the guys, Yogi Roth, who was doing the game, he even made reference to that. And they both thought, they said, "Oh yeah, this is easy. This is coming back." Yeah. So I don't think, from that perspective, I think those guys kind of played with their heads up and didn't touch the ball until allowed it to go 10 yards. And then Austin Jones, I think it was Austin Jones, got illegally blocked. I think it was blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
you know the Pac-12 officials are gonna get involved. You know it.
Yeah, they were lost in the sauce, and so from that perspective, I think we won on that from a special team standpoint. And then Zach Branch, it looks like the blocking was on point for that run. Of course, you heard Jamil Muhammad. He talked about him as far as his block. He was up front. He was blocking. You had several guys. So from a special team aspect, I don't think it hurt us. You had the Eddie Sapinski. I think that was about it. But, other than that, man, so, yeah, that was a special teams thing. But, so, getting back on Zach Branch, you compare him, you saying he's more like Joe McKnight.
I said he's his own Zach Branch. We've never had a Zach Branch before. I don't care. To me, he's more like R.J. Sauer.
Whoa, you went back. Was it number 18, R.J. Sauer? Are you saying that because he never? Man, let me tell you something about R.J. Sauer, man. That guy. I used to love some R.J. Sauer, man. Yeah, he was before Reggie Bush even came about. R.J. Sauer was the guy.
He is like that's as close as a comp that I can give Zach that I can remember in my lifetime. He's like R.J. Sauer.
Right.
He's not exactly like Joe McKnight. He's not exactly like Reggie Bush. He's not exactly like Adoree, but he has components of each. The thing about Zach is he's confident in his first 2 to 3 steps. That's why he can actually shift gears in the middle of a transition, allow his blockers to put him in position, and he can lean into. Watch his returns as a high schooler. He would walk 4 or 5 strides to set things up and to read the lanes before he attacked.
Did you see how he actually, before he ran that back, it was like I don't know what, he just slowed down.
He allowed the blockers to create the angles and he allowed the lanes to declare. That's correct. Yeah. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. He's a return artist.
Brilliant. But here's the thing I said yesterday in the video. I said that everybody doesn't have the ability to cut in stride like that. The stutter step or whatever.
No.
Some people have to slow down and stop. That guy literally cuts while he's in full stride.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when the last time I seen that like that.
The last time I seen it in a person is Devin Hester. That's the last. Devin Hester could do that. He like Reggie was make a cut, burst, outrun you, make another cut, burst, outrun you, stop, redirect fields. That's not exactly Zach Branch. Zach is more like, I'm gonna lean you into my help, and then I'm gonna set you up because I have a glitchy first 2 steps, and he has a low pad level so he can bounce off a certain contact. Like he doesn't run light. A lot of returners they run, but they run light where like if they get bumped, they'll kind of stumble and fall. He has a low center of gravity where he can absorb contact. Like the kid, he got more juice than Jamba. Yo, he's like he got more. He's like electricity charged plugged up, right? Like the man got more. Man, bro, he's got it.
He's
man.
the truth.
He is the
truth, man. Willie, shout out to you, man. You said fight on Jay and Jay Walk. Jack Sullivan was, absolutely. I agree, man. Jack Sullivan, I failed to mention him. Forgive me for that. Jack Sullivan the Purdue transfer, he actually did get great penetration, man. I've seen some things from him. He's
Yeah,
a part of the,
I thought he got a assisted sack, but he didn't.
yeah, yeah. He's a part of that great penetration as well, man. I think he, man, he's gonna only get better though. We seen him last year, and you guys realize that Purdue played in the Big Ten championship against Michigan last year. Jack Sullivan had a pretty decent game, so I think this thing, for all those who are lost in the sauce, these guys are only gonna get better. It's gonna improve. This thing is gonna continue to move and groove, man. And wow, we had I can't believe that. We had an hour already, and I didn't realize that. That thing
Hey,
was
bro,
like
that's we in the flow zone. We're in the flow zone.
we're in a flow zone, and I think this thing is crazy.
More
I can't
juice
believe it
to
went
come.
this fast. We got
Hey,
246
come to
people.
juice. Listen to me. If you hear this, y'all better holler at Zach Branch. Y'all need
Holler
to
at him. Holler at him, man. Holler at him.
holler at him.
Absolutely, holler at him, man. He might get a whole NIL. Man, he's about to have NIL deals up the yin yang right now.
He needs his own juice. The man got it.
Yeah,
bro. That's it, bro. I'm calling for it right now.
absolutely. He's about to get it. They're hearing it right here. So look, man, we just wanted to tap in, and we just kind of wanted to put this thing to bed. San Jose State is over. We think improvement. So J-Walk, before we get up out of here, what's the final statement, analysis, or a comment, or that you have to make before we get up out of here as we close San Jose State out? Because we're about to move on to another week.
Man, I feel like the show just getting started. Y'all see how like I'm anti and anxious to get all this off my spirit because I want to encourage you. I just want to encourage you. This is a long season. If we do it right, it's 15 games. Don't run out of steam now. Don't become like the rest of the world. There's already too many people to battle. We don't need to battle ourselves. You can have your opinion. I'm not just an overly optimistic, positive person. I'm not. But the thing is you have to look for the small wins that allows you to breathe into your next situation, your next moment. Our athletes have too much to contest with. They don't need to contest with us. They don't need to battle us as well in our comments, in our critiques, in our overall perception of them. But we do have to be honest. I gave the defense a C- based on I think their potential. That doesn't mean I wasn't extraordinarily happy with a lot of the stuff that I saw, but the stuff that I hated, I truly hated. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get better. I played on multiple national championship USC teams where we gave up 40 points in games.
I remember that.
Please.
I think they it's like, I'm not going to say selective amnesia, but you got to understand that.
It is. It's true. Like sometimes
those teams, Fresno State put up points against USC.
Guys, I'm not even gonna go there. All I'm gonna say is let the guys play football and give them their flowers and roses while they can, because that is what inspires and motivates them when they're doing all the reps, when they're doing all the sprints, when they're in treatment and rehab. You don't even know how much encouragement fortifies a human spirit. Stop talking crap. Stop. Like, let the rest of the country do that. They're going to do it. Let the other media that hates us do that. In-house, we got to protect in-house. Like, ask about yourself. If you're the person that constantly has negative commentary about what we're trying to do, speak about your mental, emotional, and spiritual state. That's your issue. And
Jay, real quick to your point, you get several people. It's almost like they're looking for the negative aspect opposed to the positive. And this thing could be contagious, and you already know how I am. You are too. We both, Bible believing guys, and we believe in it. It's not that we neglect what's taking place, and we acknowledge all the mistakes, but at the same time, we do want to say, look, there is life and death in the power of the tongue.
It is.
We cannot just keep speaking negative and think that positive things gonna manifest. We can't. You can't do it.
It doesn't work that way. If you want to build something, then you have to uplift it.
Yes.
If you want to tear it down, if you want to destroy something, you tear it down. That's exactly the essence of life. If you want to build something, you have to lift it up. If you want to break something, you tear it down. And the way you do that spiritually is by putting your words, your energy, your thoughts, your perceptions out into the world, whether they're good or bad. There's a yin and yang to life. Life is never just one thing. There's a dynamic flow that connects everything. Be on the positive side of things and look for the light. If not, then just be against us and put on another color uniform. I'm not saying that there isn't work to be done. I'm saying discipline yourself to have positive focus. Look for the good and uplift these young men so that they can take that motivation and drive it into their work every week. Imagine your favorite player hearing you say all these horrible things about them. And then when you get to meet them, you would never say it in person to their face. You would honor them. You would uplift them in person. But behind your keyboard, you say negative things. It's okay to be human and have your thoughts, but I'm going to tell you, it's easy to become addicted to the negative hormones of stress. Stress hormones happen when you feel negative thoughts and energy. If you don't want to feel thoughts and energy, start to connect your thoughts and patterns towards the good things that you see, because there is good in every situation. There is something positive in every situation, whether you want to admit it or not. Unfortunately, that's how life works. Now, I was unhappy, unsatisfied with the defense, very much so. But I saw so many beautiful things from players that I'm so proud of. And those are the things I lean on, because if they show me that they can do it once, then there's evidence that they can do it again and again and again. So that's where I'm going to focus, because that's what we need them to rally behind. Now, I digress. Let's move over. Our special teams, we may have the best special teams unit in the country when it comes to the return game. Yes. I thought our offense was so basic, so vanilla, so underwhelming. I actually gave them a C+. And they scored
56 points.
Nah, yeah. The offense didn't score 50 points. The offense scored 40-something points. Special teams scored.
Right, absolutely. Right.
I give special teams its own category.
Yeah.
Those are the hidden yards. Those are the secret yards that take the exact soul out of a team. When you're game planning to stop Caleb Williams, you're game planning to score on Mason Cobb, you ain't going to stop Zach Branch, Raleek Brown, Taj. You ain't going to stop our kickers. You ain't going to stop all of our wonderful specialists who have worked diligently all offseason to quiet down the rumors and the murmurs that we have no special team strength. Yeah, there's a lot of different things for teams to focus on this season.
Absolutely. And we got to get out of here. But Tobias Thomas, good looking out, man. Hey, appreciate you. Fight on. Thank you for becoming a member. And I know that was your closing statement, Jaywalk.
You call Zachariah? Did he say that, Supermax?
Did he say he did. Hey, and that's why thank you for that comment. I just heard that he wanted to be called Zachariah, and I said Zach Branch. I think I said Zach Branch, but I think you're right. Yeah, he Zachariah Branch is what he wants to be called. I think he just said that the other day. Hey, Anthony, thank you. Zach Branch is a baby Tyreek Hill. Yeah, he is. He's his own man, though. I'm gonna say the same thing. He's his own man.
Nah, he's different. He's different than Tyreek Hill. He's different.
Yeah, he
has better sprinting mechanics, better sprinting biomechanics and fundamentals. Tyreek Hill is amazing, no lie. That's why they call him the cheetah. But Tyreek Hill ran a 10.2, isn't that right?
I think he ran a 10.2. Zach ran a 10.3, but that was his sophomore year.
Tyreek Hill ran a 10.2 as a senior. Zachariah Branch ran a 10.3 as a sophomore.
As a sophomore, yeah, a sophomore, and he ran a 4.3 as a sophomore. So I don't know with the updated. He got to be, man. He looked like he run a 9 flat. I mean, that's what he looked like he run. I mean, it was crazy. So look, hey, we're going over a little bit of hour, but look, we definitely appreciate it. You guys already know we're coming back with a hope I missed it. We're coming back with a preview, and of course we're gonna get on Nevada. We're gonna close this out as far as the San Jose. I've dealt with this probably about 3 days now. We coupled with this, so Jay, that's it, man. Hey, so we definitely appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. We had almost 300 people in here. Everybody, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. Listen, until later on, everybody stay blessed.
Can I give a shout out? Hey, Solomon Birdman, congratulations on that sack. You should have got credit for a forced fumble because you forced the fumble on that play.
And he was beast mode.
He
did the same thing last year at Stanford and Arizona State.
But didn't we have 2 or 3 sacks in this game? They only gave us credit for one.
Solomon Byrd, and I can't think of Jamil Muhammad. It looked like he had a sack, but the guy threw it away. They didn't count it as a sack. He threw it away at the last minute.
Didn't Max Williams come in on a sack and then Jack Sullivan jumped on him late? I could be tripping. I don't know.
I try to remember. I gotta
go back. We got credit for one sack, but that was also a sack forced fumble. So I don't know why they didn't give us credit for that. Because they recovered it.
Yeah. Anyway. Yep.
All right.
So look, everybody stay blessed, man. Thank everybody. Let me go to everybody for tapping in, man. It was fun today. And look, I think you guys should have a better understanding of and a better perspective of what was going on, what's taking place, and what's to come and what's to look forward to. So look, until later on, everybody stay blessed. I got one more. Somebody just came in. Thank you. Salute J&J. Question is, how much of the D's problems are Grinch's fault as opposed to the players, and why are we willing to suck? Jay, you can go ahead.
Well, we're not suffering recruiting top D recruits. We're not suffering at all.
You got Cameron Fountain out of Atlanta, Georgia. He is a big time guy.
Yeah, guys, listen. There's over 300 major prolific universities in this country, and regionally, kids grow up wanting to go to the places that they dream of going. Yeah. USC in this generation's lifetime, USC has not been a dominant force in these athletes' lifetime. Please keep that in mind. The fact that a lot of these players from all across the country are even considering USC is the beginning of us becoming dynastic. That is evidence that we are becoming who we dream of being. We're not struggling at all in recruitment.
And you guys got to remember.
So
they
it's a
said
myth.
The same thing last year.
It's a myth. It's a misconception in the
it's a huge misconception.
I think that we actually subconsciously and secretly, subliminally have the best recruiting class of last year.
We do.
On paper, we're not getting credit for it. Because look at what the freshmen are doing right now. The Jacoby Lane, he got in there. Deuce got in there. He had like almost 40 yards, if not more, of receiving. Zachariah had 2 tutties. Alani Noah. Taggart Curtis was his starter.
Elijah Hughes.
Waylon Shelby was in there. Sam Green was in there. We got ballers. I don't know.
Elijah Hughes balled out.
And the list goes on. And not to mention the transfer. Those are recruits as well. Transfers are considered recruits also. When you get athletes from a transfer portal, you're recruiting them still, even though they're called transfers. We got 2 SEC star defensive linemen, so we're not struggling getting recruits, guys.
Yeah.
Kill that narrative. It's dead.
Absolutely. And I'm going to shut it down. Hey, thank you for the super chat. And USC Priority, the pudding will have proof in it. And harp on the freshman class being special for 5 months. Hey, absolutely. I totally agree. So look, until later on, everybody stay blessed. And we will have a preview coming up. Holler at everybody. Stay blessed. Fight on, fight on, fight on.
Fight on, everybody. Much love.